Hi, I've tidied my desk, so I must be making a video. Building kits, look at this big pile of sprues. Quite a while ago now, I brought a Rocket Railways mystery box, unboxed it on the channel. Second most viewed video with like 800, so that's quite cool. And I said, what I'm going to do is I'll do something with it, and then I'll show you all, and then went to sleep and forgot about that kind of thing. So I did stuff with it quite quickly, and I'll show you what I've done. But what I've also done is I've brought a second mystery box, so we'll see if the lofty expectations set by the first have been met or will be met by the second. So here's what I did with the first contents of the first one. This is quite simple, I'll grant you that. Now this is a diorama, effectively. This on the bottom is a floating shelf. You can buy them from IKEA, where I think they're called the Lac. Or from sort of Habitat, Sainsbury's, where they are probably more expensive and less good. If I quickly drop the camera down now, there we go. You can see the whole point of this was I tried to do this shelf with sort of the same ethos as they do the boxes. So a lot of this stuff is recycled. So sort of hedging left over from another diorama shelf I did. This came in the box, this sort of tree stump. These trees came in the box, and this is sort of some branches that had broken off down here. And then we've got the signal box positioned there. We've got the other trees over the back. Just some spare bits of track I had cut down, laid. Again, spare ballast left over from another sort of thing. And then I brought a chassis for this loco. It doesn't have a motor in it. I think I paid about 16 quid for this non-motored chassis, which you can buy motored ones and it cost a bit more, but I think I wanted this to be a diorama. So the idea, I guess, is that this is something ploughing the main line towards the end of Steam. I had this really cute idea where I'd sort of roll this forwards a bit and then cut a wagon in half and sort of have it so it was coming onto the scene, but it didn't really happen. So fair enough. It makes that's quite nice. And this just sits. I love doing these diorama shelves. They're great, and I do them a lot better than I do sort of my full layout, which doesn't really ever get any attention to it. I guess it seems like a too big a task. So that's what I've done here. We do when you get one of these shelves, you scratch up the top of it using a knife, sandpaper, screwdriver, that kind of thing. Then you can use a bit of spray glue to glue a sheet of this. Don't bother using static grass for this. This is just a sheet of like that grass roll you get. Put the track down. These are on bits of cardboard, I think from the box actually, so it's sort of raised up a bit. Do the ballasting, do the decorating, all well and good. So that's what happened to them. The coach I got, reglazed it, and it sits on my layout with some more recent Southern coaches, but it doesn't look too out of place. And the brake van again just sits on my layout. It's fine, nothing wrong with that, and that cost me £8. So I've got a second mystery box. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a really quick and dirty jump cut in with the free version of Windows Movie Maker, because my channel's budget is no pounds. Put a horrible jump cut in, and I'll move the camera, and then we'll have a look through this second box that I've got. I have opened it for reasons that I'll explain when I get onto it. But yeah, let's have a look at that one. Right, ta-da, tripod raised, top angle down. So, second Rocket Railways mystery box. Is it going to live up to the height of the first one? Well, first off, this one costs more, £10 plus £10 with the postage and packaging, which to be fair was what the first one was supposed to cost, and it was sort of striked out and had £8 written on it. So here it is. It's a lot more rattly than the first one. Now, I've already opened it, like I said. And the main reason being, the first one sort of came in a almost sort of shoebox affair, you'll remember, they had this postage label on it, and it said Rocket Railways in the bottom corner, and it had a nice thing. This just came in a Amazon box, and it had we cut down on recycled boxes to waste, which I think is perfectly fair enough, and I agree with that. The only reason I opened it is because I have an old classic moped. My dad occasionally sends me parts out of surprise if I sort of express an interest in a part I've seen on eBay, and he knows I won't buy it, so he occasionally buys it and sends it to me. So I did wonder if that could be this, and opened it. It's not, it is the mystery box, but they have changed the packaging now. So if we tuck some of this out of the way and crack right into it. Like I say, I have opened this before. I did have a little look through, but just get rid of the packing paper. So here we are, and we're going to do the same thing as last time. We're going to kind of count the budget up as as a budget to £10. So we've got this plastic tree. Now my girlfriend had a look through this box with me as well because she was excited to see what it was, which is bizarre. This tree did come in parts in this box. There's only this tree in this box. There is another similar tree, presumably from the same company or same kind of time, but that was built in this box loose. So one tree in the box. The best part of this is this box. I think this looks great. This is really retro and cool, so I'm going to put this up somewhere, maybe in this cabinet or something. But yeah, there's a tree and a nice box. I mean, maybe call that 50p. So let's put that out of the way. The trees I will use, because you can kind of do, if you want to make a big sort of foresty thing, as long as you've got quite nice trees at the front, you can kind of get away with putting stuff like this in the middle unchanged, but you could add some flock to them or something like that. Just put them out of the way. We've got this bag of, it's lichen, isn't it? It's that sort of thing. As my girlfriend pointed out when she picked it up, this is actually slightly damp, which is a bit odd, and perhaps not that, but I mean it's usable, isn't it? You can just sort of rip bits out of there. I sometimes like how this looks. I don't know if I have much use or ideas for this, but it's almost mouldy. I don't know. But that's what it's lichen, isn't it? It is mould, so it looks alright. It's got a 55p tag on it, and presumably didn't sell for that, but we'll call that 55p. But I mean, there's uses for that. I'll find something to do with it. I'll put it on some of my Metcalf kits or something. We got this Intercity. What is this? Hornby, old Made in England Hornby. Intercity is the executive livery. Yeah, it's not the Swallow. I think this is the executive livery coach. It's got its matching wheels, and the bogies are quite nice. It has obviously had some sort of catastrophe involving heat, because this has all sort of buckled on both ends, and on the other side it's shriveled down this end. So otherwise quite nice. Not too sure what I'm going to do with that, but I mean, I can't sell it for anything. It's obviously junk because it's in here. So probably weather it up and have it sat on I've got an Inglenet puzzle, which when it's not being played with is kind of like a scrapyardy kind of scene. So I might weather that up and put it on that for sort of a bit of a display thing. I mean, what's a pack of 20 axles from Hornby? Like a tenner? So assuming that's just axles and bogies, maybe like a pound or something. This is a nice amount of track, actually. This is all steel track, I think. I don't know. Yeah, this is steel track. Some's better than others. This has clearly been on a layout, because you can see there must have been a pin in there and here where there's a sleeper missing. There on the ball of my hand. And this sleeper's broken here as well, where there's clearly been pits. That's been dug up from somewhere. What I'll probably do, use a track rubber, scrape all this back and see if it works. If it doesn't, then what I'll do is I'll rip the sleepers off and rip the rails out and just paint them up brown, make them sort of a sort of rusty spare rails and put them in amongst other track. But I mean, that's a decent amount of track, isn't it? Cut £2 maybe. I think the thing is, steel track is kind of fine, but a lot of people avoid it because of the nickel silver track that's out now, which is a lot better. So I think that's part of it. Platform section. Don't know if I've got much use for this. This is what, made in Great Britain. Yeah, I mean, Hornby still make this stuff. It's got all its clips on it. There's not a lot you can say about that, really. It's fine. We've got a couple of wagons. We've got this wagon. I can see I don't know if you can see the M. Look, you can see this M here. So it's always had LMS written on it. So it's been repainted, much like sort of something we had in the last box. We had a brake van that had been repainted. In fact, you can see sort of bauxite colour under here. I get it's hard to resell painted stuff, so that's fine. I think this door looks like it should open, actually. Maybe that's something that we can see if that's a thing that can happen. I don't know. That's fine. What's the going rate for a wagon? It's got sort of a buffer missing. £2 going rate for a sort of a wagon, maybe like that. That's all good. This is the body of this is really nice. The Great Western. It's a gunpowder van, isn't it? Couplings both mashed on it, as you can see. But I've been building quite a number of sort of ratio kits and old Parkside Dundas kits recently, and all of them come with these sort of coupling attachments, so it's not going to be too hard, I would have thought, to prise these off and put some new coupling blocks on there. Other than that, I mean, this sort of stuff's broken, but again, I've got a big pile of sprues over there, so I will probably make something of this. Failing that, scrapyard scene, you know, said the same. All the buffers are pretty naffed, but to be fair, I'm not very good. It's got weights in it, isn't it? But to be fair, I'm not very good at building kits, so it's no worse than any of the kits I've built. In fact, if you have a look at this sort of gunpowder van, here is a kit I did build recently. Which you can see, again, isn't great. Ignore the colour. I was going for sort of an early sort of trying kind of tin platey look where everything was quite glossy. I think it looks really good actually for that, but I mean, compared to sort of shop brought wagons, it obviously doesn't look that great. But I mean, yeah, I'm not particularly good at building kits, so you can sort of see marks and glue and light through the top corner. So it's no worse or better really than what I can do, so there you go. Perfectly serviceable. Couple of bits of fence. I guess you can always use fence really, can't you? Whether or not I will have a use for that, I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. What else we got here? A long wheelbase wagon body. This is similar to sort of the SC wagons that I collect, isn't it? This is obviously an old red one, and again, you can see some writing on it. So it's been repainted, and whoever's repainted it has done it kind of okay. We couldn't find a use for that. Triang, made in England. This is a chassis, look. So that kind of does sit on there a bit, I guess. What I've noticed also, there's this quite nice Triang brake van here, which I assume, I mean, it's got the clips are broken on it, but it seems to connect in much the same way. So yeah, that's quite nice. I don't have a Triang era brake van, I don't think, so I'll probably just glue the end that hasn't got any clips on, and then add that to what I've got, add that to the fleet. Looks all fairly original. Got the original wheels. I think this is broken, hasn't it? I think it should have this bar on it maybe, but I quite like that. There we go. As we did with the last video as well, we've sort of stopped adding things up, so never mind. We've reached a tenner, sure, why not? Pico Electrics, accessory switch, fitting, turnout motor. That presumably says 3, obviously couldn't sell it for 3. I have no idea what this is, and I probably don't have a use for it, because electronics scare me. So, yeah, I mean, that is what it is. Probably not much use to me, and I don't know if that's really with the ethos of these boxes, but fair enough. A short wheelbase chassis, made in England, but I think this is, I mean, that oval there looks like it should be where the Hornby logo is, but it isn't. So I wonder if this is like Triang, but did the Triang, some of the moulds get sold to Dapo and stuff? I'm not too sure if I'm right on that. But anyway, it's got these 4 lugs on it. I've noticed that there's this wagon here with 4 holes in it, and also this tanker thing with 4 holes in it. So I presume either of these sort of fit onto here. So yeah, I mean, there we go. I don't have a tanker, so actually I think I've got the Cumberland Tarred slag tanker because it had the word slag written on it. But this is quite nice. I think this is quite a classic old wagon, isn't it? So I'll probably use that like that and have that for just sitting there. Really? Let's put them in the pile. We're really down to sort of the dregs now, aren't we? Coach roof. Quite a nice one. In fact, it hasn't got a burn in it. If I think the green coach I had, the roof was a bit burnt on one side, had a hole in it. So maybe if that will fit, I might just swap that roof out for that. In fact, you know what? I'm so interested if that's going to work. I'm going to find right now that coach from someone. It's going to be in here somewhere. Here it is. I think looking at it, actually, this is one of the Triang shorty coaches, so it's not going to fit, is it? No, that's a shame. Let's probably cut it in half and maybe cut that down and cleanly in this area. Sort of, because that's the issue there. But oh well. Good idea. Just slightly not right. Put that back in the box. Whoa. What have you got left? Lorry trailer, K&N filters, Avon, Ferodo. Lovely. Refrigerator trailer, don't have much use for that. That might be a bin job. This is a Triang bogey from something, isn't it? The wheels look a bit gnarled up. I mean, I'm going to say right now, I have absolutely no use for this. I'm a modeller, so I will keep it. If you want it, comment, and I'll message you and you can have it. Because I don't have any use for that. But it's reasonably whatever, I guess. One of these Triang cars. What's the brand? What car is this supposed to be? Triumph 2000. I think they're all supposed to be Triumph 2000s, weren't they? I don't think any of them particularly look like them much. But the wheels are kind of out of position, but I'm sure with a pair of tweezers and a bit of patience I could probably get them back in place. I think does this come apart? Oh, how does this? It will come apart, but how does it? Everything comes apart with a hammer. That's those ones dropped back into position, isn't it? Oh, we'll worry about that later because I'm doing it off camera. There we go. We've got this, and now I don't know what this is, but this slides into those two slots on Hornby track. I wonder if this is the post bag thing, where you hang the mail bag on it and the operating coach can sweep it off. I think that's what that is. I don't know, but it makes sense to me to be that. So that's quite cool. Maybe I'll pop that somewhere on the layout as sort of post bag equipment. I don't have one of those Royal Mail sets, but that's quite nice. It's quite dirty and very light, actually. I don't know if you can kind of tell how light that is from me doing that. It was a very light Mercedes kind of 90s era truck. I quite like that, and we'll probably find a use for it. Not least of all because I used to go away with my dad in his lorry. It wasn't one of these, but lorries are sort of second to trains in the interest, so definitely worth hanging on to. This is a really heavy die-cast chassis. Really, this is sort of the modern ASF freight bogey, isn't it? So it's something quite modern. It's got these really bizarre couplings on it. I think this might be American. It does have a brand on it. It looks like it says Mantua, M-A-N-T-U-A or something. But I mean, aside from the fact it's really heavy and die-cast and really nice, I quite like that. I might see if there's some way to maybe adapt the couplings to work with something I could use and just paint it black and have it as a sort of a generic engineering flat wagon. I mean, it's not right for the purists, but I don't really care about things like that. I just like things that look vaguely correct. So let's put these things back in here. We've got the wagon, the coach, the track, that wagon body, this really lovely box, love that, that's amazing. The lorry, the very light lorry, the lorry trailer, which I don't know if it would, or the trailer body, I don't know if that would come with that or not. They kind of, that's sort of metal, this isn't. I don't know, they sort of look, I don't know if there's a way of explaining it, they look sort of different levels of detail where you probably wouldn't have them together. Might be wrong. If you know what any of those are, please tell me. The coach roof for sort of, what's that? I mean, Mark 1 coach roof maybe then, if it's too short for them, too long for that southern thing, too short for that. Accessory switch, don't know much about that. That might go in the same camp as that bogey actually, of if you know what it is and you want one, pop me a message and I'll send it to you. The platform, the fence and the car, yep, fine. This, I do quite like this actually. It's of its time. It doesn't look fantastic, does it? But it's a bit of interest, and if you sort of weather it into the scenery, sort of ballast it in, it will look fine. A tree, a bag of lichen, the Shell lubricating oils tanker. Let's see what else we've got, because I've put some of it over here. A tree, a wagon. I told you I'd already opened it because there were two other cars actually the wheels were fine on. These three, so the long wheelbase wagon body, the brake van body, and the Great Western gunpowder van. There was a chassis, yes, I picked up the body and the chassis didn't come with it. The long wheelbase chassis as well. That is everything. Yeah, just checking there's nothing I've left over on the layout. So, paid £10, you know, the whole point is it's recycled stuff. You shouldn't expect. You should set your expectations accordingly. My expectations were probably a bit too high because what I think I got in that first box was amazing. This is more kind of what I imagine you would normally get, but I'm pretty chuffed with that. Again, for £10, when I go into my local model shop, you get sort of 2 of the long wheelbase wagons, £6 each. So you pay £12, you get 2 of these wagons. Granted, they're in like the condition they left Margate in all them years ago, but there's plenty enough in there. That's probably any second-hand model shop's going to sell you all that stuff for 15-20 quid, and I can make use of that. If you're like a very particular modeler where you like your really clean Metcalfe kits and you want everything to be perfect, factory fresh, obviously this isn't for you, but there's more than enough stuff, good stuff in here for me. I kind of love this kind of stuff. So that's what I've got. I did say to my colleagues at work, because we're all kind of into trains a bit, that I would take this box into them and open it up there. Well, I'm glad I didn't, because they probably would have looked at me like I was mental and wondered what I'm spending my money on, because that's probably not that. They're into trains, but that really doesn't look very good to be excited about anyway. So I'm going to end that there, say that's all quite good, get it all on my layout, and again, maybe in a couple of months' time I'll do a video showing what becomes of it. But yeah, pretty good.